Corn. Oh, is there a way to do it with that one or no?
Maybe.
It's okay.
You have to connect
It's
the
here.
camera to
It's
the.
here. It's here.
Yeah.
I will play this till 25 and then I'm gonna take over again.
Okay. Come over here. Come over here. Actually, no, no. Over here. Look, Thor, Thor, Thor.
Yeah, you flip up and then laptop.
Yes.
Extra credit if you guys stand up and dance for 3 minutes.
Getting extra credit. Yeah, why would you do that, Thor?
You set it up.
You're the one who's up there. I'm over here. I didn't want to there. First one I'll see that outside was over. Hey, no, no. Let's let Caraway see this. Let's let Caraway see this.
Well, Caraway's gonna see the CSGO opening crates.
Let's no do both. Like you
If I get a knife, lectures is canceled.
what? If you get a knife, lecture's canceled. Why a knife?
Because they're valuable. Huh.
Then like if someone gets something or someone.
No, if I get one at the crate.
No. Oh, you're talking about CS:GO?
Yeah. Oh my God. What do you think I was talking about?
Yeah. No way. You might have to put it on repeat.
It's a lot different than like first year.
You look like you're about to recruit someone.
He does. He actually looks like a
Bro,
actual dog.
I'm trying to find more, bro. Dude, why are you trying to recruit us to the military, dude?
Looks like worse for Grumman. Oh.
You have to Rick roll. Basically, the entire.
I'll do it. I'll do it in a few minutes.
Yeah.
He played the entire song. 4K as well. He played the 4K video.
I really want the Night Wish. This is the Dreams and Nightmares. You guys ready for the exam next Tuesday? 7 days.
Wait, Wednesday?
Wait.
It's next Tuesday.
Like a week?
Yeah. You have exactly 7 days. Yeah.
What topics?
Every chapters 1 through 13.
All right, so what we go over chapter
Um, I'll do a little bit of review today.
about two.
I'll also do a little bit of review today. The review will be all encompassing at the end.
The fours gonna be in it?
No.
Well, six.
Yes,
It's
it's
five and five.
5. Yes.
Seven, so I'm still a little confused.
No, no. I don't do C strings.
About eight. Eight, nine are kind of together.
I think yeah, 8 and 9 are yeah.
Gunner.
Yeah. Yeah.
10,
I think so.
11,
Yeah.
yeah, 12, that's big.
Yeah.
13.
Today we learned 13.
I don't know what's going on in
Uh, we'll get you suited up, don't worry.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. But don't worry. If you do the in-class activity, you'll be cooking. Yeah. It's optional. It's optional. How many guys brought computers? Okay, a decent amount. No, but it's nice to have. That's okay. You can team up with someone who does. Any computer. The best computer. This one. This one. Okay.
This one.
You're gonna be competing with
Your name is Thor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That ass?
You didn't, bro. We've been in college together for a year now. Yes, we were in digital logic together too.
Professor.
Yeah.
With who?
Trisitis.
The lab or like the?
I think the regular class. Probably not.
The terminal is just like Linux.
Good Mac OS is Unix based.
I know.
macOS is the best.
But there's some Apple apps. Apple apps do not work on Linux, but I'm surprised that terminal is like that. It's not the best. It's
We'll get you in tip-top shape. Don't worry.
someone needs to put Apple in tip-top shape.
I mean, you only need like
Yeah.
the final exam's worth 30% of our grade, right? Yeah.
I got a D and I get like all of it right.
You'd have to do like the little calculations on Canvas.
Calculate.
Yeah, you know how Canvas lets you see hypothetical grades? Yep. That's sort of what college is about. My friend Samuel's in here.
CS, go. CS, go.
Come on. Oh, maybe the Revolution crate will be good. Come on, guys, we got a minute. Come on. Please. Oh. Wait, one more. No, I'm kidding. All right, so today's lecture is going to be finishing up chapter 13. We're going to be going over constructors today. Yes, sir?
So you said finishing up. What's the beginning of chapter 13 about?
I don't know. So we're going to recall some stuff in the past. Heap and stack allocations are really important for this module. Can anyone remind me what the stack is about?
No.
It's on the slides. On the slides, guys. Yeah.
It's local variables.
It's local variables. All right. So what happens when a method exits? You finish the method. What happens to those local variables?
Gets destroyed.
It gets destroyed. Something with constructors that can be really dangerous is memory leaks. With dynamic allocation, objects are stored on the heap, meaning when you exit the method, they're in fact not destroyed. This is how you get memory leakage, and that's how like your RAM spike, your RAM usage spikes up. You have to purposefully destroy whatever object you're using after you initialize it and use it. So that's just something to keep in mind as we go through this chapter.
Tries to make sure that doesn't happen at all.
Yeah, so Rust is what's known as memory safe. They try and do that more proactively. So a constructor is a member function that's automatically called when an object is created. Does anyone remember what an object is? Marty? Yeah, what's an object?
Something you name.
Something you name?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
It's an instance of a class that contains all methods and the variables that the class has.
What's this class again?
class is almost like a blueprint that contains functions and variables. And you can make it custom to like hold whatever information it gets.
So that's where the name constructor comes from, is it constructs an object from that blueprint. Because it's constructing it, that's often really useful if you want to have predefined values for that object based on different things. So a constructor function is just a class name and has no return type. So if you wanted a constructor for a class called contacts, it would just be called contacts. And then we're going to get into overloading constructors, where you have multiple constructors defined for the same class. Those are differentiated through parameters. They'll be in a few slides, I think, if it's not the next. So in-place initialization is where you initialize a member variable within its declaration statement. So when you have a class, you have private. All variables in a class should be private. And then you give it that value there. That's good if you have like default value. Most commonly for like integers and doubles, this will be 0. You can also do these definitions inside a constructor. But that's good if you have multiple types of constructors and you just want to like template just in case. So a default constructor is a constructor that takes no arguments. If you make a class and you don't define a constructor, the default constructor is what C++ compiles for you. It basically just makes an instant of the class that uses the in-place initializations that were defined in the class that's already embedded. And so if we go back up, that's that contacts parentheses. That's the default constructor. But if you don't have that line, it will just make the same thing. Chapter 13.8 is passing arguments to constructors. Before we move on, you guys have any questions on point 7? Okay. So when you pass an argument to an instructor, it's very similar to passing it to a function. A constructor is just a special defined C++ function. So you do the same thing. You put the parameters same as a function, and then you use them. This is really nice if you have values you want when you define that object. So let's say you have a house. When you define that house object, you construct it. You might want to have a user-defined address for that house. Yep, you can pass arguments to a constructor when you make an object. C++ has an optimization where it recognizes if the parameters you pass in are the same as the in-place values in the class. So in this class, in private, double the width and length probably were defined as 0 as defaults. So when you call a constructor with 0, 0, C++ recognizes it's the exact same thing and will call the default constructor anyways, and that helps save some stack space. When all of the classes constructors have arguments and you don't define a default constructor, then C++ will throw an error if you try and call an object without those parameters. So if you define a constructor with variables, then C++ no longer creates that default constructor for you, and you have to pass parameters with the constructor. Does that make sense? Any questions? So we're going to go into 13.10. This is if you overload your constructors. In future classes, you'll learn about overloading C++ functions. And that's if you, let's say you take C out, one of the standard library functions, you can actually overload it with your own C out. But we're going to learn about overloading constructors first. So a class can have more than one constructor, and overloaded constructors are when let's say you have a class, but it might take different data types and you want to differentiate them. So you have rectangle as a default, maybe the rectangle, and then you define the length for it, but the width is defaulted. Rectangle double, rectangle string double, and then you also have rectangle double integer. Why might this be bad? Can anyone tell me? Anyone in the back? Yeah, hand raised. Energy was rounding. Anyone else?
You're using two number variables, different levels of precision.
That's one thing. So one of the things is we define a constructor with double, and so the compiler doesn't know if we pass, let's say, rectangle 5.5, comma 5. It doesn't know if we want the double or the double integer. And so if you're dividing those numbers, you risk the compiler assigning the integer value, and then it gets a division error because you can't divide a double by an integer by default. And so that's normally bad practice. And you want either things that are completely unrelated, like string, or you want to make it very clear what type of variable it is. So you could call like 5.5 and then 5.0, and the 0 would say this is a double. And then if you want float, you can define it as 5.0f, and f followed by a number followed by f. The C++ compiler can recognize that as this should be a float, not a double. Any questions on that? So here's an example, another example of overloading. We have box, and then everything, all the variables are just set to 0. But then let's say maybe you want a constructor for a cube, then you would have one parameter, which is length. And then of course it's a cube, so all the sides are equal, so everything's equal to length. But then if you have another function where it's maybe a box that's not a cube, a rectangle, etc., then you would have more parameters to define it more accurately. Any questions on that? And this is how you call it. Notice the new variable on this. Does anyone remember what new means?
Dynamic variable.
It's a dynamic allocation. And that's where destructors really come in, is if you dynamically allocate data, the data will not disappear when the function exits. That's the difference between local variables and static variables. When the method that uses them exits, they're destroyed. Dynamic allocation, sometimes the pointer to them is destroyed, but they're still on that heap. And so now you just have a bunch of data that you can't access, but it's taking up space.
Is this written in Java or C++?
This is C++. Or is it?
That's Java.
Yeah, you're right. Java is class. The same principles though.
Yeah.
Java is largely derived from C++ in a lot of ways.
So what it looks like, the constructor is like a function inside of this class.
Yeah, the constructor is just it's just a special type of function. But it's uncommon for a constructor to do any execution or processing. It's usually just special types of initialization. Any other questions? So you can also delegate constructors. So sometimes a class will have multiple constructors that perform similar types of steps. And then you can actually have a constructor delegate a job to another constructor. Yeah. I think the next one has a better example. So both constructors form similar operations. They assign values to the variables. The default constructor assigns empty strings, whereas the constructor 2 assigns specialized values. In C++11, it's possible for one constructor to call another constructor. This is known as constructor delegation. So in the default constructor, you might have some logic that determines whether you want constructor 2 or constructor 3, and it can then figure it out and then delegate a task to a specific constructor due to a various reason. So in this contact, basically always delegates it to contact with those parameters, and the parameters is just an empty string. . You can only have one default constructor and you can only have one default destructor. If you have multiple constructors that take no arguments, C++ doesn't know the difference between them. And then destructors take no arguments, so by definition, there can be no differentiation between different destructors. Member function overloading. So non-constructor member functions can also be overloaded. So let's say you have a set cost double and then a set cost character. C++ compiler at compile time can recognize which, no, sorry, not at compile time, at runtime can decipher which function you need. But again, they must be unique parameters. And you need to be cautious as to what types of variables you use to make sure that you don't get invalid operations. Again, constructors are just fancy functions, so a lot of the principles to them apply to functions as well. A side note, that's not a part of the official course. It's not necessarily overloading, but you can have something called an auto variable. This is fairly new C++ concept, but it can basically decipher the type of variable you want for a specific thing. And so there can be weird things like instead of having a for loop that iterates like this, auto value numbers is a range-based for loop that will go through the entire numbers array because C++ can sort of recognize that numbers is an array. Okay, auto value, I'll want to cycle through that. That's also really good if you have really complex data types. This is a vector integer, but the auto can replace that vector integer, and it makes it just a bit less typing, a bit easier, and also a bit more module. So let's say you change that vector to a double, it automatically does it down there. Just C++ sort of just replaces the auto with it. That's a side note, it won't be on a test though.
Allocate its own memories. The advantage of using it is you don't have to worry about allocating the memory before you use it as well as letting it take them.
What he said. All right, now we're going to get into destructors. Destructors are member functions that are automatically called when a class is destroyed or an object is destroyed. Destructor is usually the class name, but with this little like squiggly line before it. It has no return type and it takes no arguments. Again, there can only be one destructor per class. And if a constructor creates dynamic memory, it's the purpose of the destructor to remove that memory to help ensure there's no memory leaks within the program. So the contents of .h, you can see we have contents, a special type of constructor, and then the destructor is just right under them. When a new object is dynamically allocated with a new operator, a constructor executes essentially the class, the object, new class, and then the constructor you want. So for this example, we use the contact constructor that gives a name, phone number, and email address. And then when the destructor is destroyed, its destructor executes delete, and then the object you're deleting. New creates data allocations during runtime. During runtime is dynamic allocation. This is really good if you have, let's say, a user-defined array length, and so array length needs to be defined during runtime. But again, you need to make sure that you release that memory when you're done with it, otherwise it will just sit there. Here's an example. Oh, there we go. Local object is deleted when the method exits. Function, that's the object. This is a local object. So the moment that function is done, disappears. It's deleted. But if it's dynamically allocated, then the destructor does not run after the function ends. You have to manually delete it. Any questions on that? All right, so we're going to move on to private member functions. So
can you go back like 3 slides? Go back to the class. When we're there, okay, thank you.
So a private member function can only be called by another member function. It's usually used for internal processing by the class and cannot be used outside of the class. So similar to how we have private data, maybe you want your encryption function to be private so people can't look at it. You would have a function that calls that private member. Array of objects. So just like any other data type, objects can be the elements of an array. So let's say you have an inventory item and you want 40 of that. And then you can call the whatever constructor you want for that object. Here we just say inventory, so it's just the default constructor. You must use an initializer list to invoke a constructor that takes arguments. So that's basically whatever input you want, comma, input, comma, input. Again, that's just how you call functions in C++. Remember, you can have an array of strings. Strings are just objects. Strings are just an array of characters. So you've done this before, maybe without even realizing it. You do the same thing with your own defined objects. Strings are just objects. You make an array of strings. If the constructor requires more than one argument, it must take the form of a function call. So let's say we want 3 inventory, and then each inventory item takes 3 arguments. Then you have to call that constructor 3 times, and it creates 3 objects that are anonymous. So you can only access them through their indexing in that array. It isn't necessary to call a constructor for every object in the array. So yeah. So each comma here represents the input. And so if you have a constructor that can recognize hammer as an input, then you can just have that pass through. And then let's say you have an inventory item that takes 3 parameters, you can have that pass through as well. Again, if you want to access objects in an array, each one doesn't have their own name. So it'd be really annoying if you said object 1, object 2. And so you only can access it through that indexing because you're saying, hey, I want this object that's at this location in memory. And that's with the dot notation. Here's another example. So we have an inventory item, and then we have 5 different items in that inventory. This can scale as you need it. Yep. Now we're going to go into UML. Anyone have any other questions? So the unified modeling language is basically a standard set of diagrams for graphically depicting or object-oriented systems. And it's the same structure that you use in your class. Okay. So class name goes first, and then all member variables and all member functions. So if you remember in our class, we had class, private. A lot of our variables are private, it's right there. Public, and then a lot of our functions are normally public. Follows the same format as this, and that's sort of where the standard just where the standard formatting comes. So if anyone looks at your class, they know exactly what they're talking about. And if you're looking to get hired, you want to follow this diagram. Otherwise, the employer will go, wow, this guy knows nothing. Or doesn't know what he's doing, at least. So an example of the rectangle class, we got the private variables, yep. And then we got the functions, rectangle, class name, variables, functions, right? Yeah. In UML, you indicate whether a private member is with a minus or a public member is a plus. Hypothetically, you can have a class where it doesn't follow the format exactly. If you have like a public variable or a private function, just most of the time you want your variables to be private. So it's not a strict thing on that. But in UML, minus means private member, plus means public member. And then there's another one. I don't know if I. Then I'm pretty sure it's a hashtag if it's if it's a protected member, but I don't think we got into that this semester. To indicate the type of the data class, place a colon by the name of the data after the name of the variable. So in UML you have width, colon, data type.
That's how you set the data type in Rest as well.
More you know.
Can be had both.
UML parameter notation. To indicate the data type is a function parameter variable, you want to place the colon followed by the name of the data type after the name of the variable. So same thing, just in the function parameters. And then to indicate the return type, you have the function, colon, parameter type. So instead of at the start, it's at the end. Again, here's the rectangle class. Private members are the variables with length, both double. Then all the variables or the functions are there too. Yeah. So you can see there's no return type, obviously, for the constructors and destructors, but they follow the same format as all the functions. And you see in that one, there's a private function because you want create description to be private for whatever reason. So that's the end of chapter 3 or chapter 13. And that's the end of all the chapters we're going to cover before the final exam. I have an optional project to work on with you guys to encapsulate all this knowledge we built today. If you don't want to do it, you can leave. Do you guys have any questions before we do that? It does require a computer because we're going to be making a program. We're going to be making that contacts program I was showing in the lecture. Any questions? Dr. Caraway, did I not cover anything? Thumbs up? Yeah, what's up?
Is this PowerPoint gonna be available to us?
The normal version is on Canvas, but my version is not. But I can send it to you if you want. You just have to send me your contact information.
You already have my phone number.
Yes.
I can give you his phone number.
All right. So if you pull out your favorite programming program, my favorite programming program is Visual Studio Code.
You mean
Programming program. I know what I said. So our phone.cpp is going to be where we define our main function and where we call all other functions. Our .h is going to be our class header file. And then our .cpp is going to be the implementation of that header file. In this hypothetical, we already have class.h. So once you guys get going, go ahead and just copy this down. It's going to be all the functions we use. And just like, let me know somehow when you're ready to do other stuff. Is that better? Yeah. Do people remember what pragma means? Yeah. So, C++, you only want to initialize your header file once, and pragma basically tells the compiler only do this once. Because otherwise, we include this in, we include the header file. If we include the header file in multiple files, we don't in this program, the C++ compiler without pragma might include it multiple times and give us errors. This just tells the compiler only do this once. But yeah. What's up? Thursday will be Dr. Caraway's review. He's going to basically go through what's on the final and stuff. Everyone ready or not yet? Not yet. All right. We'll see how far we get into the program. We only have 30-ish minutes left, but
Name the group. Thank you.
Yep.
So pragma just means I do it this amount, this number of times.
Yeah, I don't know what pragma means, but that's what the statement means. It's probably like Latin or something. If I had to guess. One note is you can also, so similar to how you can have constant variables that don't change, you can have constant functions in a way. So this void print, the constant next to it means it can't change any member variables in the class. Um, and so that's a way to define to protect a function from doing stuff you don't want it to do. Because maybe you might have variables that aren't constant, but there's variables you don't want to edit them. This slots that variable to only reading the values. That's really good if you have like get this variable functions and stuff like that. That you wanna, yeah.
I did not understand what you said.
Oh. So let's say we have a get name function, right? And then we have a set name function. This is to protect the that function's information. The set name, we want to be able to edit the function, but the get name, we do not want to edit because we only want to edit it through that set name variable. If you put constant, it basically tells C++ that this function cannot edit any variables. Everyone got this? Ready? Yeah?
Um, we have, we call it, do it.
No, you don't. I don't know. That's just the canvas, so it's just what I have.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, this is just notes. So in this program, we're going to prompt the user for a name, a phone number, and an email address. This program is not going to use get and set functions because we're just going to use that constructor to set the functions. So that's one really nice use of constructors is it negates the need for a lot of get and set functions if you're only going to modify the data once, or if you just want to do it all at once. So in our main program, we're going to pound include quotation marks. Do people know why we use quotation marks for local files? This basically tells anyone looking at your code that this is a programmer-defined file and it's not in the standard library. Contacts.cpp. And then we're going to initialize main and we're going to start our program. So one of the first, we have a little sample thing right here. One of the first things we want to do is ask a user for the name. So we're going to do count name. And then in the header file, oh wait. In the header file, I already said using namespace std include string. We're going to want to use include iostream. And so when you include the contacts.cpp in here, it also includes all of that stuff already. We don't need a semicolon there. And then after that, we're going to send name input. And that basically tells us we're just going to use this name for input, nothing else. And then we're going to want a string for that. And we're just going to copy that. And we're going to do it for the number and email as well. If I'm going too fast, just let me know. So now we have our local temporary variables that we're going to use to store the user inputs. And so now that we have those user inputs, we're going to define we're gonna call the constructor to basically take that data and input it into our storage. So first, so this are contacts. So our class is contact. We're gonna make a contact equal new contacts. Is that it? New contact, not contact. And then we're going to input the stuff. So name, input, comma, number, input, comma, email, input. I think that's right. So this is the class. This is the object name, and then new, and then just class again, or new, and then the constructor, and then the constructor is just the class name, right? Does that line up? Number, email? Yep. And then I'm gonna test this program. Oh, okay. So would this program compile right now?
No,
Why is that?
because there's nothing in context.cpp.
Yep, we have to initialize all this stuff. So the easiest way to do this is just to copy and paste all this, put it there, get rid of the semicolons, and then just put brackets. And then do we need to include the header file for the implementation file? I think so. I don't fully remember it, honestly. We'll see. All right, so what do we want in contact? Anything? No? Okay. And then in contact, in the contact destructor, um, I'm just going to put to make it clear that these are the input variables. We have the input variables, and we're just going to set the class variables to those input variables. So we don't need string because they're already declared. And then name equals name input. Number equals number input. And then email equals email input. Destructor is empty. Contact's empty. And we'll get a void print later. All right, any issues with this program right now? Let's see if it compiles. So, depending on what you use, you might have an internal running system. I just compile from the terminal always because I just find it easier. So if you're doing that, you just do contacts.cpp and then phone.cpp in the folder that you have the files. Uh-oh. Undeclared identifier email. So it doesn't recognize that we're talking to a class. So we need to put contact and then these little brackets. And this basically tells C++ that this stuff belongs to that class. Still not. Unknown type string.
I think it's because it's a different name between .h and .cpp. Like,
Is it?
yeah, and in .h, it's new name, new number, new email, and then in CPP it's name input, number input.
But this should be the formal, and then this is the. Okay, maybe. We'll see.
Different. Maybe try removing the green contacts.
I don't think that's it, because you need to find that it's with the thing.
No, it got rid of one of the errors.
I think it just gave a new one.
What?
I think it just gave a new error.
It,
Concat.cpp unknown type name string. We include string. I have a little cheat sheet, so I'm just trying to see what I did earlier. I did the same thing. Oh, I have a semicolon there. That's why. That's the only fits it. Yeah.
In that example .cpp file, it was
Yeah.
including the header file, and then in this one, it includes the.
Oh, I see.
the-
Yeah. That'd be it. Thank you. Yeah, that was, I don't know how I got CPP there because I just copy and pasted it from, okay. All right, now we are down to 6 errors. So email input undeclared identifier. Don't worry, guys, we got this.
So I do not have any, usually VS Studio, VS Code has has its own built-in error detector. And yours doesn't seem to have that. It is,
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. This needs to be a pointer. Two, and then I just found some semicolons. Oh my gosh. So I made the same error over here. .cpp, it should be .h. There we go. So make sure it's a pointer. Make sure it's .h, not .cpp. And then these need to match up. All right, so .al. All right. So we now store our new contact successfully, but obviously we also probably want to print the contact to make sure that works effectively. So we're going to we're going to define our print variable here, and we're just going to count out the name, endo, number, endo, and then the email. And then we're going to call it. So contact dot print. And we'll see if that works. Stress is a pointer. We have to use this. When we declare an array, we won't have it be a pointer, but if it's a pointer to the object, then you have to, instead of the dot operator, you have to say contact, this contact, print. A dot out. And then email at email. There we go. And now we're going to make this an array. Okay. So how would we go about making an array instead? Any ideas? Yeah.
Like, when you make the array, you have the array predetermined, right? So you have to initialize all your objects to your array.
Yep. So we would have up here, it would be contact array, let's say 5. And then here, we only have the ability to modify the indexing. So we'd have to do contact 0 equals this, and then contact 0 dot print. Hmm. For some reason it's really not liking the no pointer. Oh well. We don't need the new here because we're not doing dynamic allocation technically. Still did not like it. Oh, I see. So when we declare an object of arrays, we don't do the object and then the object with an array. We just say the class array and then the object's name. So concat 0 is equal to the object concat 0, right? Oh my God. Hmm. Can you tell I'm a pro, guys? Does anyone see what I'm doing wrong?
Is it the print?
So it's saying unknown. Do you mean okay here?
Yeah, can I use the operation on context? So typing error, so and then there's another error.
No. It's not recognizing it as the
I use
object.
arrow.
All right, there we go. So I don't know what I was doing wrong earlier. So we have the object, and then we have the class. We want 5 objects, so that's our declaration of the array. And then we say of that object 0, we want this constructor. I think I had the object and class name too similar earlier. So a dot out, Thor, 1111111, and then the email. We get it. So what happens if we want to iterate multiple emails? How do we do that? Because we want 5.
The range-based for loop with auto.
We do a range based. I'm just gonna do a for loop because I'm not about to do all that.
It's easier to do range-based. It's less work.
So integer I equals 0, and then we want to iterate until I is less than 5. This would stop it at 4, so 0 through 4 would be our array. Then I plus plus to iterate. Put it all in that for loop. And then the contacts would become I for it's this contact and this index. And also we need input every time. Then let's have it print all at once. So it's not, so we have like a log of everything we did. Anyone see any issues with this code? So if we compile it, yep, works out fine. Test, we're just gonna do random numbers. So let's say I don't have 5 emails because I don't want to do 5. Then we can also make it let have a stop sentinel. So let's say if name equals exit, we don't want to do any more phone numbers or any more contacts. How would we go about implementing that? Any ideas? Are you allowed to have multiple test conditions in a for loop? Are you? I don't think you can. So you can. It's not very common, but you can. Because a for loop is just like a while loop, right? So, and we're going to say name input does not equal exit. But what happens if we have that? Well, then this for loop down here will always iterate and it'll just start iterating over indexes that don't exist. So a better way is actually just to completely change it into a while loop. So while name input is not equal exit and or does not equal exit and an index is less than 5. And then instead of having the update loop inside that parentheses, we're just trying to have it update here. And it starts at 0, integer index equals 0. And so one thing we're going to do to make sure that we're not reading more data than we need to is we're going to have a priming read on this while loop before it actually happens. So we're going to read the name. Because maybe they clicked on the contacts button on accident and they don't actually want to do anything. So if they exit the first time, we don't want to store anything. Okay. So name, exit, no. I continue. What's their number and email? Input that. And then once you have all that data, input it and then index it. And then we're going to want to ask their name again. And then if the name is exit, well, then we don't continue. And if it is some other name, then we do continue and we do the whole thing again. And then we keep doing that until it's less than 5. This 5 can also just become another variable. And this makes it very modular to change it. So Matt's contacts equals 5. And so now if we want to allow, let's say we got a new update and we allow 50 contacts, it's just a matter of changing one variable. All right. And then we can change it down here as well. So let's test it out how we did. Uh-oh. Undeclared use of I. So that's going to be index. Yep. And then, yep. This needs a semicolon. Name input. I is not capitalized. There you go. Dot / a dot out. That's just the default thing. Thor. Email at email. And then I'm all done. That's it. Works straight. And then it prints it out. That's where it does all that too. All right, is there anything else we want to do with this program? Is that usually how you format a phone number? Do you guys remember the string operations? So what string operation would we want to use to format the phone number in a proper way? So it's usually like 3 digits, dash, 3 digits, dash, 4 digits. So we would want to, what's up? No, we don't want to change the phone number. So we want to use the extract function, which is substring parentheses indents, comma, and then how far into the indents you want to go. So in this would be changing the implementation of contacts.cpp, and it would go to something like this. So if number length equals 10, then you would want to take that number and take the substring from 0 to 3, those 3 digits, dash, and then the substring from 3, and then 3 digits from 3 is the next 3 digits. And then the last one would start at 6, 4 digits. And then if they do some other weird thing, like let's say they did 11 digits for an international number, well, our program doesn't handle that, so we're just going to count the number and they can figure it out. To do this, substring I think is just, yeah, substring is a built-in function. Because, I didn't know that. So substring is a built-in function in the standard C+ library. I think it's in the IO out stream. So if you want to use that, that makes formatting pretty. But that's how you declare an object of arrays. We can make this program more pretty, but that's just polishing it, and we only have about 5 minutes left, so I'm not going to get into the rest of that. Do you guys have any questions on chapter 13?
Can you go into contact?
Into this? Here's the full version. Contacts, the normal constructor would just give no values, gives values. Destructor is empty. And then print is the same thing, it just has more spacing in the fancy formatting. Um, would you guys say this was helpful? Yeah. Thank you. What's
Review everything I say and flip on Thursday could well be on the. Now, if I go over the exam and basically tell you the question, so you might want to be there. At work.
it's rude people that left? I took everyone personally.
Here, job.
Yeah. Three, why? For this program, 3 pages is a bit unnecessary, but if you did a program that's hundreds of lines of code, it's basically just a way to categorize what's where. So huge programs might have a header file of 100 lines, and you don't want that header file like right above your main. The compiler does that sorting for you. Yeah? What? Oh, no! That's funny.
They could drop every single grade at one time.
Can you go to?
Yeah, I saw that. Did you do good?
I didn't know. Okay, so lab 10, right? I found out that it was due yesterday, like an hour
No.
or two. So I changed the heading with one of my labs.
Did you get 100? Dude.
He didn't check anything. That's all.
I think he just checks the header, the first page to see if he did the format.
It's like a little thing.
Yeah.
It says it can't reference.
I just asked him if I could do it, and he said, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
It can't
that's just like
reference.
begin with.
Yeah, I haven't met him.
Did I do better than him?
I don't know what to do.
What do you? Yeah.
Did you learn anything?
Yeah.
This was like great. You do-
Context.h.
Well, he
Contact that.
spoke out loud too. so
Yeah.
I could hear you as you're talking.
Yeah.
You stayed in a constant
I
like,
did-
line of trail of thought. You didn't jump between 18 PowerPoints. And,
Thank you.
you felt
That was good.
It was good. It's good.
I was fumbling the code. I'm like, no, no.
That's fine.
I'm gonna have to go to my cheat sheet.
Oh, because it's like
Credit for that?
it's getting this reference error. It can't.
Can't
Same with
reference.
mine.
It says that with it was saying that with the other. Doesn't show any like.
Yeah.
Compiler is a little weird as well. I never.
This is why I don't use the Visual Studio compiler in all honesty. 'Cause
I really
it does
should-
stuff like this.
I should get the other one working. Yeah. 'Cause I didn't.
Well, it's just a built-in one I use.
Yeah, like actual terminal.
Can I just grab it?
I think. Yeah. I don't know if I installed this.
Undefined reference to contact. So you have
The actual-
contact, and then in parentheses you have contact, and it does link it in Visual Studio.
Thor.
Yes.
Oh.
No. Did I say that? Did I say that? I don't think
You are
I-
not.
I said it was optional, and when I said optional, everyone laughed.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he said if you want to stay, then you could. Yeah.
Then I thought it was interesting. What's that?
Did you learn something? Set your credit on the no.
No, I can't. That's hard for me to read that. I don't have good eyesight, so it's.
Why are you sitting back there?
I can't.
There was plenty of seats up front.
So class does end.
I literally doubled the page for you. I couldn't see half my files because I just
Because it's so long.
was so zoomed in. I got lost several times. Like, where am I? Okay, so
End at 4:45. I mean, it's fine.
oh, it was 4:40. I thought it was 4:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't have a class after this, so.
Okay. First game.
Please send in your PowerPoint so I can review.
Yeah, send us your.
Yeah.
Oh, I literally just added some memes. Well, actually, I added maybe like 10 slides of different stuff.
Constructors with arguments with constructors was so funny.
So,
Aren't you in the WhatsApp?
I think so. No, I'm not. I'm not in the WhatsApp group.
You want me to add you?
You're only adding me now for my
Yeah.
materials.
Yes, exactly.
There's so-
I see how this is.
That's the only reason why we're
Wow.
adding you.
not here.
Why do you have indexed that?
Isn't you?
Oh.
Isn't you?
That's Tyler. Dumbass. It literally says Tyler.
He's Thor. This is Thor. He's the Mjolnir wielder.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is Thor.
But isn't you gonna live next year?
Yeah.
No.
Don't live for us, please.
Wait, what'd you say?
Why do you have maths con? Oh, it's smaller than math. I see.
Yeah.
I hate
I
add
wrote-
spacing.
I wrote it weird. I was rushing. You were.
You're Russian?
I was rushing.
I-
It had to be.
Oh wait, save your files.
Yeah, you were going too fast.
Sorry.
Well, to be fair,
I said
it
slow
was the
down.
deadline. It was the deadline, or not the deadline. Like you had like a time limit, so you had to get through it.
Yeah.
You were fast. You were
So your G++ compiler isn't compiling with all the files, it seems.
It's a pain to run in VS but by the way. It's like.
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah, he
to
was saying
set
the
up.
same thing. I should.
I
What's
set
up?
it up, but it's still just.
I should fix it. I should just do the normal like terminal one.
Well, you can't just do the normal terminal. Just like CD into your file and just run it from
Yeah.
there.
I don't know if I like installed it like
Go look. Go
to my
look.
path correctly. There's like a whole thing.
Type
It's-
terminal.
I was struggling too, guys.
Terminal.
Plus, I might be switching
then
laptops. So
CD
like
in your.
an SMS.
Where's your where's the project?
I think it's
open
in
it.
documents.
You can just, oh wait.
Don't do it.
You can hypothetically.
Don't put it on the home page.
Well, no, I'm saying you can like, you CD and then you take the file and you drag it into the terminal.
That actually.
Oh, on Mac it does.
What? That's
Mac has a
cool.
lot of nice features that do not
No.
exist.
So it's called not Microsoft Slop, right?
Yeah, I know,
Okay.
bro. That's why I bought the video.
Nah, you
Oh, did
said
you
it.
really?
yeah, yeah. It's getting shipped soon.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, dude. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I honestly it probably fixes with like normal like if I just compile it normally. I'll look into it to be fair.
Where do you open it from? How do you open when you open your VS Code? How do you open it? You know,
What do you mean?
like when you go File, Open Folder.
Yeah, it's just in
Oh, it's in documents.
So just
here.
document CD into the documents. You might need to go to the user first. Know your own user.
Yeah, you might have. Well, I mean, we're in the user right now.
Documents and then
I did it in contacts because we just have like a folder for
do contacts.
Can I lift the laptop real quick?
Oh wait. For what?
What?
Oh, that's the wrong thing. Wait. Oh, no, 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 that's right.
Less.
For like a few seconds.
So G plus plus
I found
contact.
He might not have G++.
No, that's what Visual Studio runs.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the
What's this thing actually running?
I'm not sure the command is G++.
I think it is, but I don't know if I installed it.
Well, that's why I wouldn't compile.
So Pip.
You don't have C plus plus on your computer.
He does, but that's not.
I gotta redo it, bro. I gotta redo it.
The command is not G++ though.
What is
It's
it?
G plus plus.
Pip-
It is on my computer.
It's not mine.
I can run.
I appreciate the help.
Yeah. Like plain plus plus is my command,
Mm,
but that plain is the Mac OS compiler.
I'll be fixing that. That's